Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we're online. Let's go. Okay, hi. Okay, now I will be briefing you all on the procedures for changes in the certification procedures. Okay, sometimes we need to change our procedures basically when there is a new requirement, maybe from MCMC, to revise a new certification scheme, or sometimes there could be a new standards, okay, that's being introduced and which might affect the way we do certification. So we have to make changes to the processes, okay? Okay, now the procedure is limited anyway to actions to be taken to address the changes and prepare the documentation for the certification panel approval. And we also need to notify all our clients, because when there is a change in the procedure, yes, the clients have to follow with this new procedure. So we need to inform them much earlier. Normally, when there's a change in the procedures, what we need to do is we need to give them a leeway. That means we have to inform them to give them a certain time before we actually implement these new processes. Okay. So for reference here, we will, based on the TAG 01 and any other relevant standards or guidelines that requires the changes. Okay, the definition, inquirer. Inquirer is a type approval applicant, a manufacturer. These are basically our clients. And technical executive referred here is person in charge, which is nominated by me to be involved in these working groups. The working groups could be in MCMC, MTSFB, because whenever there's changes in procedure, it will not just affect us, but it will affect all the certifying agencies registered under MCMC. So we will all be involved in the same meeting and working groups. Okay, let's look at the procedures. For new or revised certification scheme, issuance by MCMC or MTSFB or related regulators. So, and also for cases where MC or MTSFB make an announcement via their website, then this will be my responsibility to handle for these certification changes, and all changes in the requirements to be in the relevant standards as well. So by the way, do you all know what's MTSFB? Okay, MTSFB is the Malaysian Technical Standards Forum Berhad. This is a subsidiary company under MCMC, whose main function is to prepare standards. So basically, all the standards that you see in the requirements in the technical codes, they are prepared by this working group in MTSFB. So when we are registered later, so I think most of you will be going into and participating in these working groups. Okay, for new or revised certification requirements, there's a request is from the inquirer. So, and all inquiries for new or revised certification requirements shall be directed to MCMC, MTSFB, or to the CO in HNCA. Okay? So, as we always require that any official entries must be through emails, must be in a written form, which will be acknowledged by the technical executive. The next step is the investigation and reporting. So the personnel which I will nominate, who is involved in this working group in MTSFB, will request clarification from the inquirer when he receives them. And upon getting the clarification, we shall review. Of course, we will look to the clarification first, and then forward it to MTSFB working group, so that if this is a valid requirement, then we could consider setting up a working group to discuss this issue. But one thing to be noted is that the particulars of the inquirer shall not be disclosed. Okay, when we bring this up with the working group in MTSFB, we will not tell them who inquired. We just say that this is from us and we are bringing up this issue. The outcome of the decision shall be forwarded back to the technical executive in HNCA, and the decision made by the working group will be deliberated by us in our own technical committee. So, and if the decision is not acceptable, so the technical executive in HNCA shall inform the inquirer that to comply with whatever requirements or decision that has been outlined by MTSFB in the MCMC. Okay. So again, if the decision is acceptable, then the technical executive shall inform the inquirer that we have already that they have to abide by this decision.
So normally, if it's acceptable, it can be like different standards of testing, and can be accepted in as one of the accepted or approved allowed for the test report.
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes they want to introduce some test standards from maybe Japan or Germany or Russia, which may be a different standard from the EN standard or CCP standard. If we note that it is almost as identical one, the way the test methods are, then we actually will accept that standards, right?
Yes. Because whenever a new standard is introduced, there will be new test methods for testing them, and also that will, in a way, will affect our certification process because we are not going to be based on the new standards. So sometimes mainly the customer or our client may complain is because sometimes they want some time before we start to implement this. Yeah, they have to make their own changes. Maybe they have got a lot of products still on the old standards, and now if we start to introduce these new standards, then they could have a problem with their existing supply of products. So maybe they want to clear that first. So this is again is something that we have to inform the clients on whatever decision that we make. So HNCA will communicate the changes made to the certification scheme, if any, and inform all clients. So that the time is given here within 30 days of such changes being approved. Okay, after the changes have been approved by MCMC, then they have 30 days to comply to the new standards. So which means that give them the time to take whatever action that they require for their company. So following the decision on any changes and the publication of the change requirements, HNCA will conduct a surveillance to verify that each organization that needs to be certified or will certify their product has carried out the new requirements. Okay. Once we have introduced all these changes, we have to do a survey, basically to see that how many % of our clients or the industry are complying or following these new changes. So we shall also consider other changes and circumstances affecting certification, including changes initiated by the clients, and shall decide upon the action in accordance with requirements of the international standard or other requirements by MCMC. So these are all under the purview of the COO. So this includes now everything: evaluating, reviewing, deciding on the issuance of the revised certificates. Okay, when there is changes in the processes, maybe we also need into the certificates that we issue. We may be adding certain more fields in there or reducing certain fields that we have in the certificates. So we have to review the certificate of that we issue also. So all these records shall include the rationale for excluding any of the above activities. If any of the requirements need to be excluded, then we need to record the rationale for such changes, for such action.
Okay, this may also include, let's say we want to exclude the activities for example, protocol 802.11a or whatever technology which is really old already. We do not want to do any more of the certification. We do not need to do any more. So we'll inform them accordingly, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the fee also will be waived for that website. Okay.
Yeah.
But some of the customers may ask like the GSM, 2G standards or those. Now if all move to 3G, no more 2G, then probably in future really don't have such anymore. Then we will actually take it up, the requirement up. Okay, that is in a way excluding any of the above activities. So
okay, that's all.
Okay, there's a summary down there, then have a look. That's it.